And finally, Councillor Ed Gemmel.
It was very nice, actually, to hear the leader now talking with some gusto about what we're doing on the environment and about our environmental strategy, which is a big change from on the 20th of July last year, where he was suggesting that the warmest day ever in the UK could not be attributed to global warming. So I'm assuming that the position has moved on from that. If that's the case, then let's try and get a strategy that's moved on from this as well. The world has moved on. The latest IPCC report has come out and told us how far behind we are on it. And Antonio Guterres, so the head of the UN, has come out and said every developed nation now needs to get to net zero by 2040. It sounds like we're hearing, like Churchill, talking about the preparations we needed to do to deal with World War II prior to it getting out of hand should be being taken now. Is this council now going to heed the warnings of the IPCC, heed the warnings of Antonio Guterres, take our role in getting there, and move forward our targets to something that might actually save the future of our children and everybody else? And can we still get to the point where somebody scribbles on the back of an envelope if we've got the resources to get to 2030? And if not, why doesn't somebody bring in a motion to take that out of our climate change strategy, rather than the fact we have to come back to it, that it was put in just to show that we were interested, but we were never going to do anything?
And lastly, to Ed Gemmel, I'd just like to say that I wish he spent a fraction of the time that he spends criticising the UK and this council, actually focusing on the people and the countries that really are destroying the environment on this planet. Countries like China, like India and the USA, and the growing threat from places like Brazil. That is where the problem is today, and that is where he acts quite often as an apologist for countries like China, who are actually the main culprits on this. Let's see that focus there instead.
Please.
You shouldn't clap as chairman.
Madam Chairman, point of order,
no,
please.
No, it's not a point of order. What's your
order?
Point
of order, please.
No.
Personal statement, sorry.
Why?
Thank you. Personal statement. I have never made an apology for China or any other major emitter around the world at all, ever. And in relation to the UK, I have never talked it down.
Thank you,
Councillor
Gemmel. I'm afraid we have to move on. Thank you.
It's not a point of order.
It's not about moving on. It's about whether or not I have the right to speak, surely.
Would you please sit down? Do you have a point of order?
I do. I do believe the Constitution allows a personal statement to be made unheard for a specific amount of time to correct a word or conversation from another member of the Council. I do believe that is what the Constitution says, Madam Chairman. I might be on the back bench, but I'm going to stand up for what other people are trying to do in this Constitution.
And a hugely damaging statement at that.
Chairman, the provisions in the Constitution is that a member is permitted to make an application for a personal statement where they feel their position has been misrepresented, and it's your discretion as to whether you will allow that.
Give him a minute.
Well, we will give you 1 minute, Councillor Gemmel.
Thank you very much. And it was your discretion, I believe, Madam Chairman, not the leader's. I have never, at any point, excused any country for their emissions, and certainly not China. I am consistently talking about how everybody is not going at the right period. And the next bit is you haven't listened to any of my speeches. You obviously haven't been taking account of any of the things I've been saying. I constantly talk up Britain rather than down and point out that we can lead the decarbonisation revolution, lead the world and get the job done with us at the front of it. So I suggest you check your facts first before you have another go at me personally.